सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ.
So any questions?
Yes, so I have a lot of questions, and most of the questions are so a lot of the questions are from Vivekacudamani, but I have some questions from Intro to Vedanta, which I didn't get to ask you. So is that okay?
Of course, most welcome.
Okay, so the first question is a bit more general. It's about scriptural study in general, the methodology that you talk about. So if you can clarify something for me. Since Ashtavakra and Vivekacudamani are more advanced scriptures, like Nididhyasana and Mananam, shouldn't someone like me, for example, be starting with more Shravanam-based scriptures? I mean, until now, I am enjoying Vivekacudamani and understanding everything, but does it make sense for me to start with something more Shravanam-based?
Yes, this is very nice that you understood that, because before we start Vivekacudamani and Ashtavakra Gita, we were doing classes about Bhagavad Gita, which gives a very good foundation for new beginners, new Vedanta seekers. And then we proceeded to Introduction to Vedanta through the Tattva Bodha scripture. But since you were not attending from the start with the Bhagavad Gita, yes, it will be beneficial for you if you study in parallel Bhagavad Gita and Introduction to Vedanta through Tattva Bodha. But it should be little by little, like take it easy, because already these scriptures are too many. So you can focus until we resume in September. You can focus on Bhagavad Gita and Introduction to Vedanta. And from September, you can start again study together with the classes, the Zoom classes, the Vivekacudamani and Ashtavakra Gita.
Okay, perfect. So do I follow do I watch the videos on YouTube from Bhagavad Gita? You mean?
No, Andrew can send you the transcripts from, or you can
okay.
download.
Yeah, I downloaded. Okay. So the transcripts, perfect.
Yes, so you can study the transcripts from my guru, Swami Paramarthananda, on Bhagavad Gita, and write down all your questions, and we can have a private satsanga, and I can help you in all your questions, to clarify also your things that they need to be clarified, and also to see any kind of doubts.
Okay, great. So regarding that, can you elaborate a bit on Shravanam and studying with a guru? Because at the moment, I feel like I'm basically studying by myself every day and only asking questions whenever there's a class or private satsanga.
Yes, in the old ages, all the seekers, they would go to gurukulams, ashrams, and stay with the guru in nature, in isolated places. But nowadays, that is not so easy to be done. So what we can do is only to use the technology and all the tools that we can use. And when there is possibility to meet with the guru, of course, it will be great and it will be very beneficial. But until you have the chance to meet the guru in person, that doesn't mean that you should stay without Sravanam studying, because like that, there will pass many, many years and the progress will not be so steady. So what you can do is to study and to do Sravanam with the transcripts of my guru, Swami Paramarthananda, and write down all your questions. And from time to time, we can have a private satsanga online and work in depth with all this that needs clarification.
Okay, yeah, seems logical. So, because what I'm doing is studying with the transcripts, and I'm not studying by myself the actual scriptures, which would be different.
The actual scriptures, anyway, they are very, very difficult for Westerners.
Yeah.
Because they are not familiar with Sanskritam, with the Sanskrit language. So to work with the transcripts, it is more than enough, because my guru is doing enough clarification of the Sanskritam terminology. So by going through the transcripts, you have somehow the teaching more easy to grasp.
Okay. Okay. Now, regarding the fourfold qualifications and the preparation for Jnana Yoga. Last time you told me to disregard karma and upasana and bhakti yoga and only focus on Jnana Yoga. I mean, even though you and Swami Paramarthananda tell us that all yogas are essential and you cannot come to Jnana without these and be successful. So I have just a few questions about that. Does this mean that you think that my mind already has, in some part, the fourfold qualifications in a good enough amount so that I don't need to prepare my mind further for the grasping of Jnana Yoga?
Yes, according to your questions and the things that we have discussed till now, I'm able to see that you have somehow a good preparation for Jnana Yoga. That doesn't mean that if you want to do also Karma Yoga and Upasana, that this is forbidden. No, of course you can in parallel you can do. But I don't know if you have the possibility. Where are you living right now? I mean, you are in a country where you don't have enough. How to say? You don't have somewhere to go and to do karma yoga and to receive training how to do upasanam, because upasanam is something which is very much related to Saguna Brahman, any form of Brahman which is familiar to you. But since you live in Lebanon and there is it's not so easy for you to find a center, I guess, where you can go and receive such kind of instructions. That's why I told you that you can focus on Jnana Yoga, and with the help of private satsangas, you can manage. But for example, another kind of karma yoga that you can perform is any kind of charity, any kind of helping to humanity. It doesn't need to be karma yoga as they do in India, for example. And at the same time, if you want to do upasanam, you can focus in a deity that you feel familiar with, and chant a mantra, for example. A common mantra that a lot of Vedantins are chanting is Om Namah Shivaya. You are, of course, welcome to do so, but it seems that you are not familiar with Shiva deity and also with this kind of mantras. But if you feel that you want to do it, of course you can do it. On the other hand, the goal of karma yoga and upasana is to, at a certain mature stage, to stop them. Because in jnana yoga, we have the recognition that our true nature is nirguna Brahman, the formless, attributeless Brahman. So whether you feel that you want to do it right now or not, it is not so important. If you feel you can do it and you feel familiar with any of the deities of Saguna Brahman, you can do. But at the same time, if you focus on the teachings and you do enough Sravanam, this by itself will give you more and more clarity and will give you more and more preparation to go more in depth in the most profound teachings of Advaita Vedanta. And on the other hand, the very fact that we have this Satsanga and you have this kind of questions, it reveals that you were somehow connected with these teachings from a previous Janma, a previous lifetime. So you should not worry and just focus on what we say here, and everything will be fine.
Okay. Okay. Now regarding viveka between nitya and anitya, how to get a firm conviction about this? Because I remember in Intro to Vedanta, he says that this gets cultivated. I mean, viveka, vairagyam, and the third qualification three of the four get cultivated through karma yoga. But here he says that scriptural study is what cultivates viveka.
Viveka is discrimination. Discrimination, anatma from atma. Like you must see what is atma and what is anatma. Anatma is everything that it is impermanent, something which is called mithya, which means not really true, seemingly appearing, but not really true. So with Viveka, we mean that we need to do through Advaita Vedanta studies this discrimination, and the more the better. And the scriptures themselves, they provide all the necessary tools and methodology and teachings so that a seeker can do this discrimination. And about nitya and anitya, it means that nitya is something which is permanent, and anitya means something which is impermanent. For example, we speak usually about moksha, about self-realization. But the true nature is nitya mukta, which means eternally liberated, eternally self-realized, or eternally with mukti, with self-realization. So Joseph cannot be self-realized because Joseph does not really exist. But the nature of Joseph, the real nature, is always self-realized, nitya mukta. Now, Joseph is always there as an apparent individual, an apparent body-man complex. And it is this that is creating this veiling, this covering of the true nature. And Advaita Vedanta exactly is doing this removal of the false notion that I am a body-mind complex, that I am a person or an individual entity, or that I am Joseph. But sooner or later, when there is spiritual maturity and there is enough profound understanding, we have the permanent recognition and conviction that our true nature is nitya mukta. And the one who wanted to become a Jivan Mukta, a self-realized one, actually never existed. But in the beginning, we start with this pedagogical rhythm, and by accepting that, okay, you are a spiritual seeker, you believe that you are Joseph, and you want to become a Mukta, a Jivan Mukta, a self-realized one in this very lifetime. Okay, let's start from that, and gradually the Guru will enter more and more profound teachings, and the Guru will show that and will reveal that there is no bondage in the first place, and there is nobody in the first place who can become a Jivan Mukta, and so on and so forth. But everything is according to different levels of understanding. We cannot, for example, reveal to a kindergarten child nuclear physics or quantum physics. But we can reveal to this child, little by little, the lessons that the child is able to grasp. It is the same with the spiritual seekers. Advaita Vedanta has such a magnificent methodology which can take somebody from kindergarten and to graduate him little by little from class to class to the higher class. And we can arrive, of course, on this postgraduate doctorate studies of the most profound teachings. But everything needs, of course, the guidance of a guru and the line and the foundation of the Guru Parampara.
Okay, makes sense. Can you talk a bit about the dynamics of creation? Now we're in Intro to Vedanta territory. The way I understood it, please tell me if there's some confusion here, is that basically existence is ever present. And when Maya, which is the causal universe, turns into subtle and then gross universe, it manifests itself through the witnessing consciousness in humans and animals. So this I am feeling is a manifestation of existence or Brahman itself. Is this accurate?
Brahman cannot create and cannot do anything at all. Brahman is akarta, which means non-doer. But through just the presence of Brahman, Maya is projecting this illusory universe and these illusory beings and illusory objects. It is like the shadow of Brahman. Everything is seemingly there, but in reality, they do not have any inherent existence. The existence is of Brahman. Whatever you see as an observed object cannot be real. Only this which can never be experienced is real. Whatever can be experienced is unreal. And actually, in Advaita Vedanta, we don't believe in a creation of any kind. And everything appears and disappears in circles. And it is always seemingly there. And everything is just an appearance, just like the waves in the ocean. Actually, there is no wave and there is no ocean. What there is always the water itself. So in Advaita Vedanta, we accept the appearances, we accept that everything, what we see appears and disappears, but we talk about the non-existence and the non-real nature other than Brahman itself. And without consciousness, nothing can be there in the first place. In order to say that something is there, there is a requirement of consciousness. Without consciousness, nothing is there. So by the Chitabhasa, the reflected consciousness, let's say, of a human being, we can see the apparent universe and the apparent beings and the apparent objects, but this is due to the power of consciousness itself. It's like the mirror. Joseph can see his face in the mirror, but the face in the mirror does not have any inherent existence. And the nature of the mirror is permeating this face. Actually, there is no any borders between the face of Joseph in the mirror and the mirror itself. Likewise, Brahman is the nature of everything that appears and disappears. So all is Brahman. But again, when we say all, it's only for pedagogical reasons and for the sake of teaching. In reality, there is no all. There is only that, which is Brahman. But certainly, Maya is something very, very difficult as a concept. And it requires a lot of study and a lot of contemplation, a lot of nididhyasana, the Vedantic meditation, in order to grasp it. And also, I want to add that Maya is not something bad, as some people are presenting it, something which is creating the suffering and all this. Not at all. Because of Maya, we can glorify Brahman. Brahman itself cannot glorify itself. It needs only the Chitabhasa, the reflected consciousness, where we can say, I am Brahman. Brahman by itself cannot say, I'm Brahman. Only the reflected consciousness can say, I am Brahman. So this is a glorification, and we can celebrate that. We can celebrate all this, what we call life, and we can enjoy as a dream when we know the truth, that our true nature cannot be harmed by any means. It is always unmodified and always perfect.
Yeah, and the scriptures are also Maya. I mean,
whatever we see, the scriptures themselves also, and the Guru and the Guru Parampara, of course, are on the level of the mind, on the level of the dream. But that doesn't mean that we should lowering their value for self-realization. It is through the teachings and through the Guru and through the Guru Parampara that we can go out from the dream itself, even if these tools are inside the dream. It is like there is a door in the hell, and somebody is suffering in the hell, and there is a door. This door is the teachings, the Guru Parampara, and the Guru. You use these tools until you don't need them anymore. But before you have the profound understanding on a permanent recognition and conviction that I am Brahman, I am that, you cannot say that, because they're in the dream, in the mind level, I should not use them. I will abandon them. If you do so, you will just remain in the dream. You will just become totally and completely confused full of ignorance and darkness.
Okay, that was helpful. So I wanted to ask about the subtle universe and subtle mind. So he talks in Intro to Vedanta about how there's the micro universe and the macro universe, and both of them have subtle, gross, and causal. So the way I'm a bit confused regarding, because in terms of the universe, subtle is just the pathway from causal to gross. So first there's the causal, then subtle, and then it turns into gross. But regarding the individual, the subtle body doesn't seem like it's the pathway from causal to gross, right?
All this about the subtle and gross are only for pedagogical reasons to convey the teaching. In reality, there are no any borderlines there where here it stops Karana Sariram, and now it starts Suksma Sariram, and then it stops Suksma Sariram and starts all the rest, you know. And this is just for pedagogical reasons. Grosser, we mean from the standpoint of the individual, the apparent individual. From the standpoint of Brahman, there are no such things. If Joseph will go to the deep sleep without dreams, will not experience any kind of questions or any kind of borderlines between these levels, apparent levels, from subtler to grosser. But in order to understand how the human being functions, the great teachers have created such definitions and such terms. Since there is only consciousness, Brahman, awareness or presence, all the rest are only for the individual to start to understand that he should not focus so much on this apparent universe and his apparent physical appearance and his mind and his emotions, but rather to see them as just phenomena. It is due to the need of the individual to see that all these are just phenomena, observed things, and what he really is the Satchitananda, the witnessing consciousness. And it is to reveal that there is drisya, whatever can be an observed thing cannot be the true reality. Whatever is appearing as something which can be perceived, it means that it is mithya, impermanent, and seemingly there. But what cannot be perceived, cannot be experienced by any means, is our true nature. And you see, because the language has dualistic character, we say our true nature. In reality, there is no our. The our is only due to the lack of a proper language. The language by itself is a dualistic tool. So you can imagine how difficult it is to speak about the singular absolute reality with a dualistic language. And what to say about all these pluralistic phenomena? All phenomena are due to Maya. All phenomena are only due to mind. Everything is mind. Whatever you see are only concepts and nama rupa, names and forms, thought forms. You see the clouds in the sky, and you say, these are clouds in the sky. And you create a dichotomy, for example, between the sky and the clouds. And you believe that you, the universe, the clouds, and the sky are distinct things, when in reality, the nature of all these phenomena is only consciousness, one singular consciousness, which is your true self. For example, the sky is only a name, a concept. The clouds are again only a concept, a name, nama-rupa. And whatever permeates all these names and forms and all these apparent phenomena is consciousness itself. Without consciousness, nothing will be there to offer a name to all these forms, apparent forms. It is due to consciousness itself that you say this is the clouds and this is the sky. If you were to remove you as consciousness, what can be there? What can appear? And what can have a definition or a term? Who will be there to offer this adjective or this name or form or a label? The one who gives all the labels is your own self. And this self with capital S is only singular.
So does this mean that is anything only in existence when it is perceived?
Yes, without the perceiver, there is no anything as a perceived object. All the perceived objects, including what you call your mind or your emotions or your physical appearance, are only appearing there because their foundation is consciousness, your own consciousness. Just like in the dream in the night. The only real foundation, the only reality in the dream in the night, rather than all these people and the apparent universe and the apparent objects and the apparent relationships and events, is your own consciousness. It seems that there are interactions with Joseph, with other people in the dream, in an apparent universe, in an apparent city. And there are also apparent objects. But what can be there except consciousness itself? The same with the big dream of life. Whatever appears as interactions or apparent objects, apparent people, apparent beings of any kind, are only of the nature of consciousness. And this is what you are. And what you are cannot be experienced, cannot be objectified. And this is the only true reality. You say, I am aware that I have now a private satsanga with Satchitananda. After, you will say, I'm aware that I'm eating. After, you may say, I'm aware that I'm walking. The permanent thing always is, I am aware of. I am aware of, I am aware of, I am aware of. This is the only true reality. And it is beyond any concepts, any labels, any thought forms, any namarupa. It is beyond the concept even of space and time. It never moves. It is always unmodified, always unchanging, beginningless, formless, spaceless, timeless, nameless. And this is the absolute reality. This is the absolute truth. Your own self. All the rest are only phenomena. Mithya, apparent things, appearances, just like the dream in the night.
Okay. So I have a couple of questions regarding karma.
Mhm.
So you told me that the karma yoga cannot lead to self-realization by itself. Is this because it doesn't matter whether you have good or bad karma? And what matters is the fructification of karma. So even if you have a lot of good karma, you will need another body in the next life for their fructification, right?
Yes, first of all, we must say that the true nature does not have any karma.
Yes, of course.
True nature cannot have any karma. The one who has karma is the one who does not really exist. Since you believe that you exist as an individual entity, you are superimposing on yourself all these projections, all these dream lifetimes, and it is only an illusion. When you will realize that what you are is not an individual identity, a person, an ego, or an existence distinct from existence itself, or the existence of all the apparent beings, then you will not need even to worry about these ideas. So a Jivan Mukta, a self-realized one, knows that he have nothing to do with all these ideas of karma. Karma never existed in reality. It is only due to the false notion that I am a jiva, as an individual soul, an individual identity. And karma itself can purify the apparent individual and can purify the mind. This is called Chitta Suddhi, which means purification of the mind, in order to proceed afterwards in Jnana Yoga, in the self-knowledge process or procedure. And it is beneficial and very much needed for those who are not purified or prepared enough from previous lifetimes. But for someone who have very profound questions and very nice capability of grasping even a little bit of the Advaita Vedanta teachings, it's not really a requirement. Since you can deal with these profound teachings and you have profound questions and you feel familiar with Advaita Vedanta teachings, by itself is a great sign that you did a lot of karma yoga and upasana in previous dream lifetimes. But nevertheless, if you feel that it helps you and it creates a better preparation and a better atmosphere in the mind to grasp and to study the profound teachings of Advaita Vedanta, you can do as much as you like karma yoga and upasana. But sooner or later, it has to be abandoned. Why it has to be abandoned? Because karma yoga and upasana is reinforcing, maintaining the false notion that I, the universe, God, and Brahman, and the other beings are distinct things. When in reality, there is only one singular consciousness, Brahman. And whatever appears and disappears are only appearances. with no any inherent existence, or they do appear, but they are mithya, impermanent, not really there, seemingly there. And karma yoga is something that even a jnani can do, not because he needs so, but because of love and compassion. He may do karma yoga for loka sangraham, for the purification of humanity and upliftment of humanity. But karma yoga by itself cannot be a way directly for self-realization process or self-knowledge, cannot lead to moksha directly. It can lead to moksha only as a preparatory tool. The same with upasanam. Another name that sometimes it is used is Raja Yoga, the meditation of any kind. Raja Yoga or meditation or upasanam, again, it purifies the mind, prepares the mind for a mature states where it can grasp the jnana yoga profound teachings.
So is there a benefit to doing meditation on a particular deity than just to focusing the mind on, for example, breath, on your breath or something like that?
These kinds of Ashtanga yoga of Patanjali are only for those who feel not so familiar with Advaita Vedanta teachings. And it can be a great preparation for them. But for example, Ashtanga yoga of Patanjali, or the 8 limbs of yoga of Patanjali, and also the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, are on the path of Samkhya philosophy, which is a dualistic philosophy, a Dvaita path, not an Advaita path. Nevertheless, because we have different capacities and different spiritual maturity levels of the apparent individuals, then for those who cannot grasp and they feel that it is extremely difficult to deal or to swallow the profound teachings of Advaita Vedanta, they can prepare themselves with this system of Hatha Yoga or Raja Yoga. For example, those who cannot even do meditation, simple meditation, they can go and do Hatha Yoga, like create discipline in the physical body, create discipline in their breath through pranayamas, and all these like asanas for the physical body, the physical exercises, the pranayamas for the breathing disciplines, and yama and niyama, the do's and don'ts of life, the moral behavior to the society and to yourself, all the requirements can be very, very beneficial as a preparation. So we speak here about different levels of spiritual capacity or maturity. But if somebody feels very much familiar and a lot of attraction of the Advaita Vedanta teachings themselves, as I mentioned earlier, it is a great sign that all these kind of sadhana, spiritual practice, have been performed in previous janmas, in previous lifetimes.
Yes, I understand that very well, but I don't know. I think it's just my personality in the current Janma that I'm impatient and sometimes I have doubts like on the conviction. So for example, sometimes thoughts enter my mind regarding maybe I'm deluding myself and only studying Vedanta because I feel unfulfilled and insecure in the world out there and cannot find a way out. So Vedanta seems like kind of an escape. So I keep wanting assurances regarding that. I don't know why why this is like that.
But this is the story of all the seekers and all the egos and all the minds. They are always have this kind of doubts. And of course, the ego many times will use Advaita Vedanta teachings as a painkiller or as escapism for the samsara problems. But Advaita Vedanta by itself cannot remove samsara. Advaita Vedanta can remove the false notion that my true nature, I as Brahman, have samsara. It removes the false notions. So the body-mind complex will always have samsara. Advaita Vedanta comes and reveals to you that even though this Janma, this lifetime, this body-mind complex may have samsara, you yourself, your real self, have never had and will never have any samsara and any karma. So Joseph always will think about that, and it is normal in the sense that all the egos, all the persons, they have similar doubts. And this is also the purpose of recording and uploading the private satsangas, because most of the times the questions are always similar and the problems of the egos are always the same. The ego will never be satisfied. The person cannot be satisfied, cannot be perfect. What is perfect is the only real one, which is Brahman consciousness, awareness. This is perfect. This can only be perfect. The ego can never be perfect. The ego can never be self-realized. First of all, it had never existed in the first place. It is only an appearance. It is the bundle of thoughts. It does not have any inherent existence by itself or without the support of the consciousness itself. So you should not worry about all these doubts and all these questions from the ego itself. You should always remember the teachings, remember the Mahavakyams, the great statements, such as Tattvam Asi or Aham Brahmasmi, and declare as often as possible, claim as often as possible, your true nature, your true self. The escapism is always there as a phenomenon. When Joseph, for example, will have a lot of fun and no problems in any sector of life, like family sector, career sector, relationship sector, health sector, etc., the ego will not wish to do any escapism. This is logical. But when there are problems in any of the sectors, then the ego tries to escape through Advaita Vedanta teachings or any other kind of spiritual teaching. This is called also sometimes in the West spiritual bypassing. So there are a lot of people who are like to and trying to avoid the problems of life and escape through Advaita Vedanta or other kinds of spiritual paths. But this will never work anyway. It cannot.
Yeah, but how do I know if I'm doing that or not?
By simply continuing to have this inclination to the Advaita Vedanta teachings by itself reveals that you are connected, that you are you are continuing a previous process that have started in previous janmas, in previous lifetimes. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here having a private satsanga with a guru and who is belonging to an authentic guru parampara. It wouldn't happen, something like that. You don't know that billions of people have no any interest for Advaita Vedanta in particular, and any interest in any spirituality path in general. Billions of people, they are just want to have fun and to enjoy life. What makes Joseph to be familiar with his teachings and have an inclination, an attraction, being attracted to a guru and a guru parampara of an authentic and sacred tradition? Obviously, previous involvement.
Yes, okay. That helps actually.
Why
Okay.
you're not out there in a club or in a cafe, just enjoying and having fun, and why you're studying these teachings? Why
Because
you?
it's impermanent. Going to the cafe, you enjoy it, and then what?
Yes, but billions of people say that they don't care about such kind of teachings. Billions of people, they just want to have fun and to entertain themselves and to be just normal worldly people. They have no any kind of interest for in general for any spiritual path, and what to say for the most profound path of Advaita Vedanta. So it is obvious that you have been already connected from previous lifetimes. Plus the fact that you don't go to follow the fake non-duality so-called teachers, and you try to stick into the authentic spiritual tradition of Advaita Vedanta. This is also a great sign.
Yeah, I did try, as you know, but as you said, it only led to more confusion and more darkness.
Yes, and also the recognition that something is wrong there also is a great sign that you are connected with the authentic tradition, because you were able to recognize that something is wrong there. Nothing is by accident. Everything is appearing due to the law of karma. The way that you have been connected to this kind of teachings, this particular time, it's also not by accident. It is because of this spiritual maturity. And also Joseph is a young guy. Other guys in this age, they try to just to have fun or to make money. They have no any interest of self-knowledge. But of course, this doesn't mean that Joseph should have pride.
No, I know.
Yeah, it should be very much known that although there is a connection and familiarity with this holy tradition and these teachings, that nevertheless the ego can regain its power very, very easily if the sadhana, the spiritual practice, and Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam, and the moral lifestyle as per the Dharma scriptures will not be followed. So there are many things out there which are not conducive to this procedure or process towards self-realization. And there are many distractions, especially for a young man like Joseph, which can distract him and stop this process. And the only remedy to avoid these distractions and the
Stay in
danger,
touch with the scriptures.
and the danger to abandon the holy path of Advaita Vedanta and the Guru and the Guru Parampara is to have a regular touch and a regular meeting with the Guru and the Guru Parampara, and as often as possible, minimum 2-3 hours every day, Sravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. And this should be accompanied with the Dharmic lifestyle as per the scriptures, the Dharma scriptures. So this will create a spiritual shield for Joseph not to abandon the path. The Guru will always be available. The Guru is always available to those who are sincere and honest. Will never abandon a seeker who is following the instructions, or at least trying at his best to follow his instructions. And the Guru will be there even once a week, if not more often. And this is the greatest protection. The Guru will never allow the seeker or the mumuksu, the desirer for liberation, for moksha, abandoned. Will always remind to him the truth. Wake up. You are not a body-mind complex. You are not an individual entity. You are consciousness, the impersonal Brahman awareness. Just declare that, claim that your true nature. I am that. And the more often is the connection with the Guru and the Guru Parampara, the more quickly will come this permanent recognition and conviction. And then you don't need a Guru. You don't need a Guru Parampara. You don't need the scriptures anymore. You don't need to do Sravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam, or any kind of sadhana, unless you want to play a good paradigm in society, in humanity. And you will perform karma yoga, you may perform rituals, you may become a guru, playing the role of a guru, not for your sake, not for your need and to gain something, but as an example and as helping humanity for loka sangraham, uplifting humanity, purifying humanity. The humanity needs as many as possible gurus, true gurus, not fake gurus, not those who are making money, who are trying to gain disciples or followers and to take their money, or those who want to have sishyas, disciples, followers, or students to have more sexual partners and to use their position as a so-called guru to have their sense gratification, ego gratification. Humanity needs true gurus, real gurus who themselves are and have been sishyas of real and pure gurus in a true and authentic Guru Parampara or Sampradaya. one day also Joseph can play the role of a guru when he has the permanent recognition and conviction, and there is not even a second that has this false notion that I'm a body-mind complex or a jivatma or a person. And this doesn't appear for decades, even for a second, this false notion. Then also he can play the role of a guru if he wish so. Otherwise, he can enjoy his jnanam, his self-knowledge, and help, if he wish so, for humanity.
Okay, thank you for that. I have no more questions, so this was really helpful. Thanks a lot, Satchitananda.
You are always most welcome. You can arrange with Andrew our next private satsanga as per convenience of Andrew, because Andrew, as you know, is an employee and full of work. So it's up to him.
Yes.
It's up to
Okay, I
him.
will.
So thank you very much. Namaste, love and blessings.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः